Right now, I mean, millions of people are just exhausting themselves,
Oh, absolutely.
fighting these brutal corporate battles, desperately chasing promotions and just lying awake at night, stressing over their social status.
Yeah, that low-level hum of anxiety.
Exactly. You probably feel that low-level hum of anxiety yourself, that feeling of moving 100 miles an hour, but never really being entirely sure where you're going.
It is so common today.
It really is. But what if I told you that to an ancient Chinese philosopher, our entire modern hustle culture looks exactly like a colony of ants swarming over a piece of dead meat?
That is quite the visual.
Right. Well, welcome to the deep dive. We are exploring what might just be the ultimate antidote to modern burnout and all this information overload.
And the source material we are examining today is truly a remarkable body of work.
It really is dense stuff.
Very dense. We are looking specifically at a text called The Chapter of Celestial Cultivation, Article 4.
Which has a great subtitle, right?
Yes, Clarity Through Detachment, Reaching Far Through Tranquility. It was written by an author named Shuofeng.
Okay.
And what makes this text so rewarding is that it acts as this massive synthesis of Eastern wisdom. Like, Shuofeng heavily cites two absolute classic works.
Right. The first one is the Kai Gentan, which translates to the vegetable root discourse.
Exactly. And the second is the Zhenguang Shenwen, or the Expanded Words of the Worthy.
So our mission today is to basically decode these texts for you. We're going to take these ancient principles of, detachment and tranquility and just strip away the mystical, abstract aura surrounding them.
Because they actually are very practical.
Exactly. We want to figure out how they act as a highly practical cheat code for your life right now.
Yeah, how they actually help you see the world clearly.
Right, and build genuine, lasting friendships. And fundamentally avoid that ultimate trap of looking back on your life and realizing you just, I don't know, wasted your time on all the wrong things.
It is a profound framework for living. I mean, these texts aren't demanding that you stop participating in the world.
Right.
They are just offering a blueprint for how to stop living blindly within it.
Okay, let's unpack this. Before we really get into the weeds of this philosophy, I want you, the listener, to just take a mental breath.
Just pause for a second.
Yeah. Think about your calendar for tomorrow. Think about all those unread emails and the notifications pinging on your phone right now.
Is it a lot?
It is. Just hold that feeling of frantic, buzzing energy in your mind for a second, because the text we are looking at demands the exact opposite mindset.
It really does.
Let's start with how this text completely dismantles our modern idea of the hustle, because it radically redefines what it means to be an ambitious person.
Yeah, and the text establishes this by introducing a historical figure who embodies this paradox perfectly. He points to Zhuge Liang.
Oh, right.
So for context, Zhuge Liang is essentially the historical epitome of wisdom and strategy in Chinese history.
Like the ultimate tactician.
Exactly. He was the chancellor and lead strategist for the warlord Liu Bei during this period of relentless, bloody conflict.
So he wasn't just sitting around meditating.
Not at all. He devoted his entire existence to his leader's cause, operating under the kind of life or death pressure that makes our modern corporate stress look like a vacation.
Yeah, I mean, the stakes were literally life and death every day.
Right. He labored until his literal dying breath, carrying the weight of an entire kingdom on his shoulders.
The guy was the absolute definition of a high achiever getting things done. He wasn't retreating to a quiet cave while everyone else did the hard work.
You'd assume a man with that level of relentless output would teach his children the art of ruthless ambition or the secret to outworking the competition.
Right, like a hustle culture playbook.
But the text reveals a massive paradox about how he actually operated. When it came time to pass down his ultimate secret to his children, he told them,
And this is the quote, right?
yes. He said, without detachment, one cannot establish clear aspirations, and without tranquility, one cannot achieve great distances.
That is such a wild pivot from what we expect of successful people today.
It completely flips the script.
And the author, Xu Feng, uses this historical example to launch this just visceral, brutal critique of how the rest of us usually operate. The imagery in this text is staggering.
Oh, the metaphors are incredible.
Yeah, he describes humans who fight for wealth and status as people fighting on a snail's horn and debating in a flash of lightning.
The scale of that metaphor is breathtaking when you really sit with it.
It's so humbling.
A snail's horn represents the microscopic, almost comical insignificance of our daily dramas in the grand scheme of the cosmos.
Right, like we are declaring war over millimeters of space.
Exactly. And the flash of lightning represents the fleeting nature of our time alive. We're exhausting our only lives over these tiny territories, and the whole thing is over in the blink of an eye.
And the text pushes that even further. It compares our frantic scrambling for worldly success to flies scrambling for blood or ants swarming over carrion. Yeah, dead meat. It is looking at the people we put on magazine covers, the billionaires, the influencers, the people winning the rat race, and basically saying, look at those insects fighting over garbage.
It is a harsh reality check.
It frames our entire modern hustle as a life of total short-sightedness and misplaced priorities.
What's fascinating here is the text's underlying mechanics of why this hustle is so inherently destructive to the human spirit.
Okay, lay it out for us.
Well, detachment, in this context, is not a synonym for laziness or apathy. It is a strict, non-negotiable prerequisite for clear vision.
So it's not about just not caring.
No, not at all. The text argues that without tranquility, your soul drifts aimlessly. It becomes totally clouded by sensory pleasures, material gains, and interpersonal conflict.
They just get lost in the noise.
Right. You lose your agency. You become entirely reactive, just bouncing from one external stimulus to the next, blinded by the dense haze of your own desires.
Okay, I'm buying into this critique of the rat race, but I have a massive reservation here.
Sure, what is it?
It is very easy for a philosopher to say we shouldn't care about worldly success. But how does a modern parent with a mortgage and a grocery bill actually apply this?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right. If I think about the flies scrambling for blood analogy, I instantly picture those toxic office politics where everyone is fighting for a promotion. I get why that specific behavior is bad.
Yes, that is clearly destructive.
But if I detach entirely, don't I just lose my drive to provide or improve my situation? Like, how does detachment actually help my purpose rather than just killing it entirely?
That is the crucial distinction the text wants us to make. Detachment doesn't kill your purpose. It purifies it.
Purifies it. But
Think about the physical act of seeing a masterpiece in an art gallery. If you have your face pressed directly against the canvas, you cannot see the picture.
right, you're just staring at paint.
Exactly. You only see the messy, chaotic brushstrokes right in front of your eyes. Detachment is the act of taking 3 deliberate steps back.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
The text explicitly says detachment brings clarity, enabling one to see the path, discern the right direction, and envision the distant horizon.
So it gives you perspective.
Yes. If your ambition is driven by a desperate need for applause or a paralyzing fear of falling behind, you are easily manipulated by your environment. Your ambition is incredibly fragile.
Because it depends on external validation.
Exactly. But if you are detached from the immediate chaotic feedback loop of the world, your ambition transforms into a steady internal compass. You act because it is the right path, not because you are an ant chasing the carrion.
That makes a lot of sense. It keeps our faces from being pressed against the painting.
Precisely.
But practically speaking, how do we actually cultivate this clarity when we are, stuck in traffic, late for a meeting, and our phones are just blowing up?
It is not easy in the modern world.
No, it's not. But the text doesn't just leave us hanging with abstract ideas. It pulls in these incredibly practical maxims, primarily from the Kaizen Tan, the vegetable root discourse.
And the title of that specific text is a massive clue to its philosophy.
Vegetable roots.
Right. The foundational idea is that if a person can chew on vegetable roots, meaning if they can endure hardship, embrace the unglamorous, and find real sustenance in the most basic hidden things, they can accomplish absolutely anything.
Because they aren't dependent on luxury.
Exactly. Vegetable roots are tough, they are covered in dirt, and they aren't sweet. But they are the foundation that keeps the plant alive.
Right.
The text quotes, "Simplicity reveals true flavor. The ordinary reveals true brilliance."
It also emphasizes a realistic balance, which I appreciate. It says, avoid extremes, neither excessive richness nor excessive barrenness.
It is a very grounded philosophy.
Yeah, it's not telling you to sell all your possessions, move to a desert, and starve yourself to reach enlightenment.
No, it introduces a brilliant, highly applicable concept. Stillness in motion is true stillness.
Right, stills is in motion.
Yes. Anyone can maintain a sense of calm when they are sitting entirely alone in an empty, quiet room. But true tranquility is the ability to maintain that internal quiet while you are standing in the middle of a chaotic environment.
Oh, wow. So finding the eye of the hurricane.
Exactly. It advises us to actively steal moments of leisure in a busy life.
That is so good. And the author also weaves in quotes from the Zhengbang Xian Wen, which directly contrasts the genuine joy found in a bamboo fence and thatched cottage with the emptiness of the grandest temples.
Right, finding joy in the simple things.
Yeah. And then the text gets almost cosmic in its perspective. It says, the gods watch from just 3 feet above, implying there is this undeniable moral fabric to the universe that we just cannot ignore.
It connects our daily actions to a larger order.
It does. But the part that really struck me is when it discusses nature. It states that autumn insects and spring birds both express the inner workings of nature, so we shouldn't impose our own judgments of beauty and ugliness onto them.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, all of these seemingly disparate quotes from the vegetable roots and the words of the worthy are pointing toward one central transformative theme.
Righteous.
True joy and what the text calls spiritual achievement do not come from physically escaping the modern world. They come from fundamentally changing how you process the data of the world.
So it's an internal shift, not an external one.
Right. It's about practicing observation without immediate judgment. When you hear the harsh chirping of the autumn insects, you don't instantly complain and say, I prefer the melodious spring birds.
Just let it be.
Exactly. You simply observe the insects as a necessary part of the system. The text insists we should find delight in falling leaves and withered grass rather than chasing the manufactured illusion of the clamor of music.
It's like sitting in a crowded movie theater watching an incredibly intense, chaotic action sequence.
Oh, that's a great way to think about it.
Like, if you get sucked into the illusion, your heart rate spikes, you get stressed, and you feel the danger. But if you just remind yourself that you are sitting in a chair watching light projected onto a screen, you can appreciate the craftsmanship of the chaos without letting it control your nervous system.
You detach from the illusion.
Exactly. You aren't leaving the theater. You're just experiencing it clearly.
Right.
But the text also warns us that the burning desire for profit is a pit of fire.
A very vivid warning.
Yeah. So does stepping out of this pit of fire and finding joy in withered grass turn us into emotionless robots? Like, aren't we just anesthetizing ourselves to the highs and lows of life?
It's not anesthesia, it's a recalibration of your emotional baseline.
Okay, tell me more about that.
When you are standing in that pit of fire of burning desire, your emotions are entirely controlling you. You are suffering constantly because reality refuses to perfectly match your intense, specific cravings.
Because you always want more.
Exactly. The text notes clinging leads to suffering, liberation leads to immortality. By consciously releasing your death grip on exactly how you demand the universe should treat you, you actually open yourself up to feeling life more deeply.
So you actually feel more, not less.
Right. A peaceful heart has the capacity to see beauty everywhere, not just in the rare moments where it gets exactly what it wants. You aren't suppressing your emotions. You are simply removing the agonizing friction of constant, unsatisfied desire.
That brings up a fascinating potential paradox in the text, though.
What's that?
Well, if you are totally detached from outcomes, if your ambition is purely internal, and you are perfectly content finding stillness looking at withered grass. Looking at withered grass, do you just become a lonely hermit?
Right.
Like, does the text suggest we just check out of human relationships entirely?
It is a totally logical question given the focus on inner stillness, but the text makes a massive surprising pivot here.
Oh, really?
Yes, it explicitly argues the opposite. It suggests that detachment is the only thing that makes genuine, lasting human connection possible.
The phrasing it uses is so direct. It says, those who walk alone lack steadfastness, and the path of cultivation cannot be walked alone.
Yes.
It's an incredibly social perspective for a text about finding inner quiet. Sufeng even drops a quote from a Western thinker, which feels like a wild crossover episode for an ancient Chinese philosophical text.
It really does. Francis Bacon makes a profound appearance in the text.
Right.
He is quoted saying, "The lack of true friendship is the most profound and pitiable solitude. Without friendship, the world is but a wilderness."
That's beautiful.
The author uses this Western perspective to underscore a universal human truth. While family bonds are deeply emotional and foundational, finding kindred spirits is the most crucial, actively chosen element on the path of personal cultivation.
To help us navigate that, the text provides a brilliant analogy to help us tell the difference between real friends and fake friends.
It is one of the best parts of the text.
It says, the friendship of a noble person is like water. The friendship of a petty person is like sweet wine.
It is a masterful, multi-layered comparison. Water is simple, unadorned, and absolutely essential for sustaining life.
You literally need it to survive.
Right. It doesn't overwhelm your palate, and it endures. Sweet wine, on the other hand, is a pure indulgence.
It's just for fun.
Yes, it's intensely flavorful and exciting up front, but it doesn't actually sustain you. In fact, if you consume too much of it, it literally makes you sick and leaves you with a headache.
Oh, totally.
The text warns that a petty person's affection dissolves with indulgence.
I love the idea of a relationship hangover.
That is exactly what it is.
And the text doesn't stop there. It systematically roasts all the different types of fake sweet wine friendships we constantly form. It breaks down an entire taxonomy of fake friends.
And the breakdown is incredibly recognizable even today. First, it identifies friendships based on power and flattery.
Oh, yeah. We all know those.
These are people drawn to your influence. The absolute second you lose your position or your leverage, they vanish completely.
They ghost you.
Exactly. Then it highlights friendships built on bribery, which the text views as mutual exploitation that completely crumbles the moment circumstances get difficult or the flow of resources stops.
We've all seen those relationships implode. But what about the people who bond because they are going through a tough time together? The text has a specific phrase for that, too.
It calls those bonds bowing under the eaves.
Bowing under the eaves.
Right. It refers to friendships born purely of shared misfortune. It's a relationship of extreme convenience because you are both stuck hiding from the same storm.
You're just sheltering together.
Exactly. But once the weather clears, the sun comes out, and your circumstances diverge, the bond evaporates because it had no foundational substance.
And finally, it targets relationships built strictly on calculated benefits. The text drops a ruthless, undeniable proverb. The rich in the mountains have distant relatives. The poor in the city have no visitors.
It is harsh but true.
It totally exposes how transactional we can be.
This raises an important question. Why does the text insist that embracing detachment is the only possible way to form true, lasting friendships?
Yeah, how do those connect?
It goes right back to the mechanism of human perception. If you are not actively detached from outcomes, status, and material gain, you will inevitably view other people through the lens of what they can do for you.
Everything becomes a transaction.
Your relationships become inherently transactional. You are constantly, subconsciously calculating the return on investment of your social interactions.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. But if you have achieved a level of tranquility, if you genuinely don't need anything from the other person to validate your own existence or boost your status, then you can truly see them for who they are.
You just appreciate them.
Right. You can form a bond based on shared values, a true kindred spirit, rather than mutual utility.
So what does this all mean for you listening to this deep dive right now?
It's a vital question.
Think about the sweet wine friendships in your own life. Think about the exhaustion of those shallow networking events where you're shaking hands, smiling until your face hurts, and you can literally see the person's eyes darting down to your name badge to check your job title,
Oh, that happens all the time.
to decide if you are even worth their time. That is the definition of sweet wine. The hangover from that kind of interaction is social burnout.
Completely.
Contrast that with the refreshing water of a friend who just wants to sit on a porch with you. You don't have to perform. You don't have to be impressive. You just exist together.
That is the ideal.
That pure, uncalculated connection is exactly what detachment allows you to build.
And it is vital for the listener to recognize that Shuifeng, the author of this text, isn't writing from a place of unearned, arrogant enlightenment.
He isn't lecturing down to us from a mountaintop.
No, not at all.
The outro of his text is incredibly poignant and vulnerable. He brings in this deep, highly personal regret. He admits that he only truly understood the depth of these truths latent in his own life.
He writes with a very heavy, reflective heart. He explicitly says he feels profound regret that his youthful years have flowed away like water.
Wow. Float away like water.
Yes. He realizes that if he had embraced this practice of detachment earlier in his journey, instead of getting caught up in the frantic hustle and the illusions of the snail's horn, his spiritual achievements would already be complete.
He sees what he missed out on.
He recognizes the sheer amount of time he wasted fighting over carrion.
That vulnerability is the ultimate warning for you. Whether you are currently prepping for a massive career-defining presentation, or you are just trying to keep your head above water in a chaotic week where everything feels like an absolute emergency.
And it so often does.
It does. This deep dive is your reminder that the time to step off the snail's horn is right now. You don't have to wait until you are old and exhausted to realize that the sweet wine gives you a headache and the carrion isn't worth the fight.
You can make the change today.
You can consciously choose to find the stillness in the motion today before your own time flows away like water.
It is a profound call to immediate internal action. It is an invitation to reorient your internal compass long before the journey is over.
To leave you with one final lingering thought to mull over today, I want to pull one last specific vivid image from the Zhenguang Xian Wen that the text references.
It is a powerful one.
It points to the desolate graves of Beimang, which was an ancient, famous burial ground. The text emphasizes the emotional gravity of this place, noting that beneath that soil, there is absolutely no distinction between the rich and the poor, the winners and the losers.
Everyone ends up exactly the same.
Then, the text looks up at the floating clouds over Yulei, clouds that have silently witnessed the endless, frantic rise and fall of human history for millennia.
Just drifting silently.
It asks us to view our own flesh and blood, our own desperate struggles, as a mere fleeting shadow. So I want you to think about the most stressful, urgent, pulse-pounding problem on your to-do list right now. Have you got it in your mind?
Hold on to it.
No. If you were to look at that exact problem from the silent, ancient perspective of those floating clouds over Yulei, would it still feel like a life or death crisis? Or would it just look like a tiny, insignificant speck of dust swirling endlessly within dust?